This is Coyote News.
The 73rd Annual Harrington Lecture is taking place tonight. Coyote News' Nadia Castillo is live in the muck to learn more. Nadia?
Thank you, Jacob. I'm here today with Dr. Angela Helmer, speaker for the Harrington Lecture. Dr. Helmer, your work focuses on Latin and Spanish languages during colonial Peru. What drew you into this topic?
Oh, well, yes, when I was a graduate student, I took a class on diglossia and bilingualism, and I thought it was an interesting situation to explore in Peru because, of course, there are indigenous languages and Spanish was a language of prestige, but among the elite in Lima, which was the capital of the Viceroyship of Peru, there was Latin on top of it, and it was the language of education, the language of cultured people. So it was interesting to see how one language had prestige over the others. So I started looking for Latin texts and Latin and Spanish texts written by Peruvian authors in Peru and printed during the colonial period to see what its role was during that time. Yeah.
What is the most surprising or powerful thing that comes from studying these Latin texts that you've encountered so far?
Well, there are many aspects that are very interesting. First of all, how society was put together, how there were people who were excluded from education, how a language like Latin could be a tool of education, but at the same time a tool of divide. It was dividing society as well. But then one can also see how people were resilient and tried to learn the language in order to, get up in society in some way. But also how people start thinking about the Americas as a different country, like as a different place. Not Spain, but the Americas. So they use the language also to describe products, plants, things from the Americas, and they feel that they are their own. They belong to the country. They belong not to Spain, but to the Americas in general. So, there's so many different aspects that are very interesting.
What is it like working with these centuries-old documents and having to read them?
It's fascinating. I love that. I look at old manuscripts. Sometimes they are printed, sometimes they are not. I really like paleography, so reading ancient writings. And also, the print was different then than today. Spanish also has changed. Of course, every language evolves. So reading texts from the 16th, 17th century, it's a very demanding, challenging thing, can be, but it's also a beautiful thing to discover, how people thought, how people lived. It's really interesting to me.
And finally, out of all the languages that you speak, which is the one that you like using the most?
Oh boy, it depends on what it is for. Of course, I love Spanish, it's my native language. I love German, I love to read in German. I speak English a lot, of course, because I live here. I love Portuguese. It's such a melodic, beautiful language. But recently, I've fallen in love with modern Greek. So that's the language that I really want to learn now. Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Helmer, for being here. Live from the muck for Coyote News, I'm Nadia Castillo.
Thanks, Nadia. The lecture begins at 6 in Farber Hall.